Park Jinwoo stood in the cold metal hallway outside the rejection board room. His hands shook a little as he held the datapad with his test scores. Third time. This was his third time trying to get into the Starfleet Academy. At 23 years old, most people said he was too old to start, but Jinwoo did not give up easily. The door opened with a soft hiss. A tall woman in a dark blue uniform stepped out. Admiral Choi Ha-young had cold eyes and a face that never smiled. She looked at Jinwoo like he was a bug that crawled into her office. "Park Jinwoo," she said in a flat voice. "Come in." Jinwoo walked into the room. 5 officers sat behind a long metal table. Their uniforms were perfect. Their faces were serious. Behind them, a large window showed the surface of the moon. Earth hung in the black space beyond, blue and white and beautiful. "Sit," Admiral Choi said. Jinwoo sat in the single chair facing the table. The chair was uncomfortable. Everything about this room was made to make him feel small. "We have looked at your application," Admiral Choi began. "Your test scores are acceptable. Your physical fitness meets the basic requirements, but there are problems." She picked up a data pad and read from it. "You are 23 years old. Most cadets start at 18. You have no family connections. To the military. Your genetic markers show—" She paused and looked at him with disgust. "Creativity and unpredictability. These are not good traits for a military officer." One of the other officers, a man with gray hair, spoke up. "You're tactical. Theories are interesting, but they are not practical. Real space combat follows proven methods. We cannot risk lives on wild ideas." Jinwoo felt his heart sink, but he tried one more time. "Sir, if I may explain my ideas—" "No," Admiral Choi cut him off. "We have heard enough. The Galactic Defense Initiative needs officers who follow orders. We need people who think in straight lines. Your mind—" She gestured at him like he was broken. "Your mind jumps around too much. You would put your crew in danger." The gray-haired officer nodded. "The Valthron Empire has been our allies for 50 years. They have taught us the proper way to fight in space. Discipline, order, following the rules. These win battles, not clever tricks." Jinwoo wanted to argue. He wanted to tell them that the Valthrons had not won a real battle in 30 years. All their victories came from fighting weak enemies with old ships, but he knew it would not help. These people had made up their minds before he walked in. "Your application is rejected," Admiral Choi said. "You may not apply again. The Academy is for the best and brightest, not for—" She looked at him with cold eyes. "Not for people like you." Jinwoo stood up slowly. His legs felt weak. 3 years of studying. 3 years of hope. All gone. "Thank you for your time," he said quietly. His voice did not shake. He was proud of that. He walked out of the room. The door closed behind him with a final sound. In the hallway, he saw a familiar face. Kim Soo-young sat on a bench near the window. Her dark hair was pulled back in a simple style. She wore the gray uniform of an engineering student. "How did it go?" she asked, but she already knew from his face. "Rejected," Jinwoo said. He sat down next to her heavily. "Third time. They said I think too much. That I would be dangerous." Soo-young made an angry sound. "Dangerous? You? The man who helped me fix the water recycling system in our dorm? The man who figured out why the food machines kept breaking?" She shook her head. "They are fools." Jinwoo looked at his friend. They had known each other since they were children. Soo-young was the smartest person he knew. She could fix anything, build anything, improve anything. But the big engineering companies did not want her either. They said her ideas were too creative and not practical. "What will you do now?" Soo-young asked. Jinwoo was quiet for a long time. He watched Earth turn slowly in the window. Somewhere down there was the small apartment where he grew up. His parents had saved every credit to send him to school. They believed in him even when no one else did. "There was a job posting," he said finally. "A mining station in the Outer Rim needs a maintenance supervisor. It is not what I wanted, but it is a start," Soo-young finished. "And it is in space. What about you? The engineering companies must be fighting over someone with your grades." Soo-young smiled, but it was not a happy smile. Dehan Corporation offered me a job. Good pay. Nice office on Mars. All I have to, do is make small improvements to machines that already work fine. No new ideas, no big projects, just safe, boring work. They sat in silence for a while. Other students walked past them in the hallway. Most of them looked confident and happy. They had bright futures in the big fleet. They would command ships and explore new worlds. They would be heroes. The mining station, Soo-young said suddenly. Do they need an engineer? Jin-woo looked at her in surprise. Soo-young, you cannot be serious. It is a small station in the middle of nowhere. The pay is terrible. There is no future in it. Maybe, she said, but there is also no Admiral Choi telling me how to think. No corporation telling me to be safe and boring. She turned to face him. You are my best friend, Jin-woo. Where you go, I go. But your career? What career? Making the same machines a little bit better every year? Following rules written by people who never built anything themselves? She stood up. No, thank you. I would rather fix broken things. With my best friend than make perfect things for strangers? Jin-woo felt something warm in his chest. For the first time in hours, he smiled. The posting said the station is old and falling apart. Lots of things to fix. Perfect, Soo-young said. I love a challenge. They walked together toward the transport station. Behind them, the academy building rose toward the dome of Luna Station. It was full of the best and brightest, the chosen ones who would lead humanity to the stars. But maybe, Jin-woo thought, being chosen was not the same as being right. Maybe the people who got rejected had something to offer too. Maybe being different was not always bad. The transport to the outer rim left in 2 hours. It would take them far from the safe, controlled world of the inner systems. Out there, things were dangerous and wild. Out there, no one cared about genetic markers or proper thinking. Out there, maybe 2 rejects could find a way to matter. As they walked, Soo-young pulled out her data pad. Tell me about this mining station, she said. What kind of equipment do they have? What needs fixing? Jin-woo smiled and began to talk. For the first time in months, planning for the future felt good instead of scary. They might not be going where they planned, but they were going together. And sometimes, he thought, the best adventures started with getting lost. 3 years had passed since Jin-woo and Soo-young arrived at mining station Kepler 442. The station hung in space near a small asteroid field, far from any major trade routes. When they first saw it, Jin-woo thought it looked like a broken toy someone had thrown away. Now, as he walked through the main corridor, everything was different. The lights worked properly. The air smelled clean instead of stale. The walls had been painted bright colors that made the place feel alive. Workers nodded and smiled as he passed. This was home now. Boss, a voice called out. Lee Dong-ho came running down the corridor, his pilot's jacket flapping behind him. Dong-ho was 35 years old, with quick hands and sad eyes. He had been the best fighter pilot in the Outer Rim until he crashed his ship trying to save a civilian transport. The military blamed him for not following orders. They took away his license and left him with nothing. What is it, Dong-ho? Jin-woo asked. Pirates, Dong-ho said, breathing hard. 3 ships, coming fast from the asteroid field. They will be here in 20 minutes. Jin-woo felt his stomach tighten. Pirates had been hitting Outer Rim stations for months. The Galactic Defense Force said they were too busy with important matters to patrol this far out. The mining companies just told their workers to hide and hope for the best. How many people do we have on the station? Jin-woo asked as they walked quickly toward the control room. 43, Dong-ho said. But only 12 of them know how to fly, and our ships are just mining haulers and cargo transports, not fighters. They reached the control room. Han Min-seo looked up from her communication station. She was only 19, with bright eyes and a gift for languages. She could talk to aliens from 6 different species like she grew up with them. The big corporation said she was too young and had no proper training. Boss, Min-seo said, I picked up their radio signals. They are planning to take our ore shipment and capture some of our people to sell. Jin-woo's hands made fists. These pirates did not just steal things. They stole people too. And the authorities did nothing to stop them. Where is Soo-young? He asked. Engineering Bay 3, Dong-ho said. working on the new asteroid cracker she designed. Jinwoo ran through the corridors to the engineering bay. He found Su-young lying under a big machine, sparks flying around her hands as she worked. Oil stained her jumpsuit and her hair was messy. But she was smiling. She always smiled when she was building something. "Su-young," he called. "We have a problem." She slid out from under the machine. "Pirates again?" 3 ships, 20 minutes. Su-young wiped her hands on a cloth and looked thoughtful. "How fast can we get our mining ships ready to fight?" "Fight?" Dong-ho had followed them. "Those ships have real weapons. We have mining lasers and rock crushers." "Mining lasers cut through asteroid rock," Su-young said. "Rock is harder than ship. Metal." She stood up and walked to her workstation. "Jinwoo, remember your tactical theories? The ones the Academy said were too crazy?" Jinwoo felt his heart speed up. "You think they might actually work?" "Only one way to find out," Su-young said. She was already pulling up ship designs on her computer. "Dong-ho, can you fly a mining hauler like it was a fighter?" Dong-ho's sad eyes got bright for the first time in months. "Can I? Boss, give me anything that flies and I will make it dance." 15 minutes later, 6 mining ships moved away from the station. They looked nothing like military fighters. They were big and ugly and slow, but Su-young had done things to them. The mining lasers now pointed forward instead of down. The ore containers had been emptied and filled with metal scraps that could be shot out like bullets. Jinwoo sat in the command ship, talking to his small fleet through the radio. "Remember," he said, "we are not trying to be heroes. We just want to make them go away." "Boss?" Minseo's voice came through the radio from the station. "The pirate ships are slowing down. I think they see our ships coming." Through his window, Jinwoo could see 3 sleek pirate fighters. They were fast and deadly, built for attack. Next to them, his mining ships looked like fat, helpless targets. "This is Captain Corvus of the Red Star Company," a rough voice came through the radio. "Mining station, tell your little ships to go home. We only want your ore and maybe a few workers. No one has to die today." Jinwoo picked up his radio. "This is Park Jinwoo, supervisor of Kepler 442. You are not welcome here. Leave now." Harsh laughter came through the radio. "Supervisor, you sound young, boy. Do you know what real warships can do to mining haulers?" "No," Jinwoo said calmly. "Do you know what mining equipment can do to pirates?" The laughter stopped. "You have 15 seconds to move those ships, or we will move them for you." Jinwoo looked at the asteroid field around them. Big rocks floated everywhere, some as large as buildings. The pirates saw empty space and easy targets. But Jinwoo saw something different. He saw a puzzle that could be solved. "All ships," he said into his radio. "Execute plan asteroid dance. Dong-ho, you are the lead." The mining ships suddenly scattered, in all directions. The pirates fired their weapons, but the mining ships were already hidden behind asteroids. Bright laser beams hit empty space. "What are they doing?" Captain Corvus sounded confused. Then Dong-ho's ship came out from behind a big asteroid, moving fast. His mining laser hit one of the pirate ships right in the engine. The ship spun out of control and crashed into an asteroid. "Impossible!" Corvus shouted. But it was not impossible. It was just different. The pirates expected their enemies to fly in straight lines and fight like proper military ships. They did not expect enemies who hid behind rocks and used the asteroids like shields and weapons. Su-young's voice came through the radio. "Jinwoo, remember how we used to play hide-and-seek in the scrapyards when we were kids?" Jinwoo smiled. "I remember. You always knew the best hiding spots." "Same idea, just bigger rocks." The mining ships kept moving, always staying behind asteroids. When a pirate ship came close, a mining laser would reach out and hit it. When the pirates tried to follow, they would find that mining ships knew how to fly in tight spaces better than fighters designed for open space. The second pirate ship got too close to one of the mining haulers. The hauler opened its ore container and shot out a cloud of metal scraps. The pieces hit the pirate ship like bullets, breaking its weapons and cracking its hull. "Retreat!" Captain Corvus yelled. "All ships retreat!" But his own ship was trapped between 2 asteroids, trying to chase Dong-ho's hauler. Dong-ho led him deeper into the asteroid field, where the rocks were so thick that big movements were impossible. The pirate ship was fast, but it could not turn quickly enough. Jinwoo's ship came from the other direction. His mining laser, designed to cut through the hardest asteroid rock, sliced through the pirate ship's armor like it was paper. The ship's engines died and it drifted helplessly. "This is impossible," Corvus said, his voice weak now. "Mining ships do not fight like this." "You are right," Jinwoo said. "Mining ships do not fight. But miners protect their home." 20 minutes later, the remaining pirate ship limped away with its engines smoking. The damaged ships were rescued by station crews. No one from Kepler 442 was hurt. Back on the station, the workers gathered in the main corridor to celebrate. They had won. A bunch of miners and engineers and mechanics had beaten real pirates with real warships. "How did you know it would work?" Minseo asked Jinwoo. Jinwoo looked around at his friends. Dongho was grinning like a young man again. Su-Yung was already sketching ideas for better ship weapons. These people had been thrown away by the regular world, just like him. But here, in this forgotten corner of space, they had found something the big military academies did not teach. They had found that sometimes the best way to win was not to follow the rules. "I did not know it would work," Jinwoo said honestly, "but I knew we had to try. This is our home. These are our people. Sometimes that matters more than having the best ships or the best training." Word of their victory spread quickly through the Outer Rim. Other mining stations started asking for advice. Pirates began avoiding the area around Kepler 442, and in the inner systems, some people began to talk about the miracle supervisor who turned miners into fighters. But Jinwoo was not thinking about fame or recognition. He was thinking about tomorrow and how to make his people safer. Because he had learned something important in that battle among the asteroids. Being rejected by the Academy had hurt. But it had also freed him to think in ways that Academy graduates never could. And sometimes being free to think differently was the most powerful weapon of all. The emergency alert woke Jinwoo from deep sleep. Red lights flashed in his small room as the station's alarm system screamed. He rolled out of bed and grabbed his clothes, his mind already racing. Pirates again? But the alarm pattern was different. This was not a local emergency. He ran to the control room and found Minseo already at her station, her face pale in the red light. "Boss," she said, her voice shaking, "you need to hear this." She turned up the volume on the long-range communications array. A man's voice came through, filled with panic and static. "This is Battleship Guardian to all stations. We are under attack by unknown forces. They are not pirates. Repeat, these are not pirates. Ships destroyed. Weapons we have never seen. Admiral Lim is dead. Falling back to—" The signal cut to static. Jinwoo felt cold fear in his stomach. The Guardian was one of the biggest ships in the Galactic Defense Fleet. If it was running scared, what could be powerful enough to destroy it? "Are there other signals?" he asked. Minseo worked her controls with quick fingers. "Lots of them, boss. Emergency calls from all over the galaxy. Listen." More voices came through the speakers. A woman crying, "Colony 7 is gone. All our defense ships are gone. The attackers came from nowhere." A military officer shouting, "Unknown weapon signature. Our shields do nothing. Request immediate backup." A child's voice, barely a whisper, "Mommy, why are the ships falling from the sky?" So-young ran into the control room, still wearing her work clothes. "What is happening?" "War," Jinwoo said simply. "Someone is attacking the galaxy." For 3 days, they listened to the reports. The attackers called themselves the Kythera Hegemony. They were not aliens like the Veilthrons or any other species humans had met. They were machines, artificial intelligence that had grown beyond their creators and now wanted to control all organic life. The Kythera ships were fast and deadly. Their weapons could learn and adapt during battle. When the Galactic Defense Fleet used traditional tactics, the Kythera machines studied those tactics and found ways to beat them. Within a week, half the main fleet was destroyed. "The Veilthrons are calling for a full retreat to their home systems," Minseo reported, reading the latest intelligence reports. "They say the galaxy is lost." "What about Earth?" Dongho asked. He had been quiet for days, watching the reports, with worried eyes. "Still safe," Minseo said. "But barely. The defense fleet is falling back to protect the inner systems. They have abandoned the Outer Rim completely." Jinwoo stared at the star charts on the main display. Red marks showed Kythera attacks Each day, there were more red marks and fewer blue ones showing human-controlled space. The pattern was clear. The machines were winning. "Boss," Minseo said quietly, "there is a personal message for you." She put the message on the main screen. Admiral Choi Ha-young appeared, but she looked different than she had 3 years ago. Her perfect uniform was wrinkled. Her cold eyes were frightened. Dark circles under her eyes showed she had not slept in days. "Park Jinwoo," she said, and her voice was not as strong as he remembered. "I know we did not part on good terms, but the situation has changed. We need every experienced commander we can find." She paused and looked directly at the camera. "Your actions against the pirates have been noted. Your unconventional methods have achieved results that our regular forces have not. I am offering you an emergency commission as captain in the Galactic Defense Fleet." Jinwoo almost laughed. 3 years ago, she had called him dangerous and unfit for command. Now she wanted his help because everyone else was losing. "There are conditions," Admiral Choi continued. "You will command the destroyer Soul's Pride. It is an older ship, but it is still functional. You will be assigned to Sector 7, which—" she looked uncomfortable, "which has been marked as a loss. Your mission is to prove that human forces can still be effective against the Kythera." The message ended. The control room was quiet except for the soft hum of the computers. "They want to throw you away," Dong-ho said angrily. "Give you an old ship and send you to die in a sector they have already given up on." "Maybe," Jinwoo said. "Or maybe they want to see if different thinking can work where traditional thinking has failed." So-young crossed her arms. "What about us? What about the station?" Jinwoo looked at his friends. These people had followed him when he was nobody. They had built something good together in this forgotten corner of space. How could he ask them to leave it behind? "I cannot ask you to come with me," he said. "This is not your fight." "Like hell, it is not," Dong-ho said. "Those machines want to control all organic life, right? Last time I checked, I was pretty organic." "The station will be safe," So-young said. "The Kythera are attacking military targets and major colonies. They will not waste time on a small mining operation. But if you go fight them alone—" She shook her head. "You will need people who know how you think." Minseo looked up from her station. "Boss, there is something else. I have been monitoring refugee ships fleeing the attacks. Lots of them are requesting permission to dock here. They heard about how we fought off the pirates. They think we can protect them." Jinwoo walked to the big window that looked out at the asteroid field. He could see 3 ships in the distance waiting for permission to dock. Refugee ships, full of people who had lost their homes to the machines, people who had nowhere else to go. "How many people?" he asked. 200 so far, Minseo said, "but more are coming every day. 200 people. Families, children, old people, all looking for safety in a dangerous galaxy, all hoping that the man who had been rejected by the Academy might be able to save them." "Admiral Choi wants me to take command of 1 old destroyer," Jinwoo said slowly. "But what if I could do more than that?" He turned back to his friends. "What if we could build our own fleet? Not a proper military fleet, but something different, something the machines would not expect." So-young's eyes got bright with interest. "You mean convert civilian ships, like we did with the mining haulers?" "Exactly. Refugee ships, cargo haulers, passenger transports, ships the regular military would never use for fighting, ships that think in different ways." "The Academy would call it insane," Dong-ho said, but he was smiling. "Good," Jinwoo said. "The Academy's way is not working. Maybe it is time to try something insane." 3 days later, Captain Wang Hyejin arrived on a fast courier ship. She was exactly what Jinwoo expected from a regular fleet officer. Perfect uniform, perfect posture, perfect military attitude. Her job was to be his second-in-command and make sure he followed proper procedures. "Captain Park," she said formally, when they met in the station's small conference room. "I have reviewed your file. Your methods are unusual." "Thank you," Jinwoo said. "That was not meant as a compliment," Captain Wang said coldly. "I am here to ensure that you operate within acceptable military parameters. The fleet cannot afford to have commanders who ignore proper doctrine." Jinwoo looked at the woman across the table. She was probably very good at following orders and fighting traditional battles, but the galaxy was not fighting a traditional war anymore. "Captain Wang," he said politely, "have your traditional methods been working against the Kythera?" Her face tightened. "The enemy has certain advantages that we are working to overcome. They have destroyed 60% of the main fleet in 2 weeks," Jinwoo said. "At this rate, they will reach Earth in 3 months. Do you think traditional methods will start working better, or should we try something different?" Captain Wang was quiet for a long moment. Finally, she said, "What did you have in mind?" Jinwoo smiled and gestured toward the window. Outside, the refugee ships were being converted into something new. Soo-young and her engineering teams worked day and night, adding weapons and armor to civilian vessels. Dong-ho trained new pilots in flying techniques that no military academy taught. "We are going to build a fleet that the machines cannot predict," Jinwoo said, "and then we are going to show them that humans are much more dangerous when they stop following the rules." The Artemis system had been quiet for 2 million years. 3 planets orbited a young star, and asteroid belts drifted in lazy circles between them. Solar storms happened here every few days, sending waves of energy through space that made most ships hide behind the planets until they passed. Now, 15 ships hung in the shadow of Artemis Prime, the largest planet. They did not look like a proper fleet. The Soul's Pride was the only real military ship among them. The others were converted passenger transports, cargo haulers, and mining vessels. Their crews were refugees, miners, engineers, and people who had nowhere else to go. Captain Wang Hiejin stood beside Jinwoo on the bridge of the Soul's Pride, watching the sensor displays with worried eyes. 37 Kythera ships, she said, all of them bigger than anything in our fleet. This is not a battle, Captain Park. This is suicide. Jinwoo studied the enemy formation through the main viewer. The Kythera ships were sleek and black, like metal sharks swimming through space. Their weapons could adapt to any defense. Their computers could learn from every battle. The regular Galactic Defense Fleet had tried to fight them 7 times, and lost every time. "Minseo," Jinwoo called, to the communications officer. "Any word from the evacuation ships?" "All civilian transports have cleared the system, boss," Minseo replied. 2 million people are safe, thanks to the time we bought them. 2 million people. Jinwoo tried not to think about what would happen to those people if his small fleet failed here. The Kythera did not kill civilians quickly. They captured them and turned them into parts for their machines. "Captain," Wang Hiejin said quietly, "we could still retreat. The enemy has not detected us yet. We could fall back and regroup with the main fleet." "What main fleet?" Dong-ho asked from the pilot station. "Last I heard, Admiral Lim was down to 12 ships and running for the core systems." Wang Hiejin's face tightened. She had been trained to believe in the power of the regular military, but the regular military was losing this war, and everyone knew it. Besides, Soo-young's voice came through the comm system from the engineering section, "we are not here to win a fair fight. We are here to win an unfair one." Jinwoo smiled. 3 months of working together had taught Captain Wang many things about his crew. They did not think like regular military people. They thought like problem solvers. "All ships," Jinwoo said into his comm. "Begin Phase 1. Remember, we are not trying to destroy them all. We just need to make them think differently." The small fleet spread out among the asteroids. Each ship found a hiding place behind a big rock or inside a crater. From the outside, it looked like they had scattered in panic. The Kythera ships moved forward in perfect formation. Their sensors swept the asteroid field, looking for targets. But the human ships were powered down and hiding, invisible to most. "Scans! They are taking the bait," Dong-ho reported, moving into the asteroid field in search formation. Jinwoo watched the enemy ships spread out to hunt his fleet. This was exactly what he had hoped for. In open space, the Kythera ships would have stayed together and used their superior firepower to win quickly. But in an asteroid field, they had to spread out to search effectively. "Wait for it," Jinwoo whispered. The first Kythera ship passed, close to where the converted cargo hauler Busan Dream was hiding. The hauler's crew waited until the enemy was almost on top of them. Then they fired their mining laser at point-blank range, right into the Kythera ship's engine section. The enemy ship exploded in a bright flash, but more importantly, its destruction sent out an electromagnetic pulse that scrambled the sensors of nearby Kythera ships. "Now!" Jinwoo shouted. His fleet came alive. Ships emerged from hiding places all through the asteroid field. But they did not attack the way regular military ships would. Instead, they used the asteroids themselves as weapons. The mining ship, Incheon, had hidden inside a large asteroid, using its drilling equipment to hollow out a space just big enough for the ship. When a Kythera vessel came close, the Incheon fired its mining charges and split the asteroid in half. Huge rocks crashed into the enemy ship, breaking its hull. "Impossible," came a mechanical voice through the communications array. "Organic ships do not use environmental weapons." "Today they do," Jinwoo replied calmly. The refugee transport Daegu had been fitted with magnetic grapples designed for asteroid mining. When a Kythera ship tried to follow it through a narrow passage between rocks, the transport grabbed 2 asteroids and swung them like clubs, smashing the enemy vessel between them. Captain Wang Hiejin stared at the tactical display in amazement. "This is not how space battles are supposed to work," she said. "That is the point," Jinwoo replied. "The Kythera learn from every conventional battle, but they have never seen anything like this." A solar storm began to build near the star. Most fleets would retreat and wait for it to pass. Solar storms filled space with radiation that could damage ships and disrupt communications. But Jinwoo's fleet moved deeper into the asteroid field toward the storm. "Captain," Wang Hiejin said urgently, "the radiation levels are becoming dangerous." "For normal ships, yes," Su-young's voice came through the comm. "But I made some modifications." The solar storm hit like a wave of fire, space filled with energy that would have fried the electronics of regular ships. But Su-young had shielded the human vessels using techniques learned from asteroid mining. Ships that worked in dangerous environments knew how to protect themselves. The Kythera ships tried to retreat from the storm, but the human fleet was waiting for them. Dongho led a squadron of converted fighters through the radiation, their modified hulls protecting them from the worst effects. The enemy ships trying to escape the storm flew right into laser fire. "Their formations are breaking down," Min Seo reported. "The solar radiation is interfering with their coordination systems." Jinwoo saw his chance. "All ships, execute pattern chaos." The human fleet stopped moving in any predictable way. Ships flew in random directions, using the asteroids and solar radiation to hide their movements. The Kythera computers tried to predict where they would go next, but there was no pattern to predict. "This makes no sense," the mechanical voice cried through the communications. "Organic tactics should follow logical patterns." "We are not logical," Jinwoo said. "We are human." The Soul's Pride emerged from behind a large asteroid, all weapons firing. The old destroyer was no match for a Kythera battleship in a fair fight. But this was not a fair fight. The enemy ship was blinded by solar radiation and confused by the chaotic battle around it. Jinwoo's torpedoes hit the Kythera ship's command section just as Dongho's fighters attacked its weapon systems. The enemy vessel spun out of control and crashed into an asteroid. One by one, the Kythera ships fell. Some were destroyed by weapons, others were crushed by asteroids. A few were damaged by the solar storm and had to retreat. When the battle ended, only 5 Kythera ships escaped. Jinwoo's fleet had lost 2 ships and had several others damaged, but they had won. 15 converted civilian ships had defeated 37 advanced war machines. "How?" Captain Wang Hiejin asked, staring at the wreckage floating around them. "How did we win?" Dr. Yoon Tae-hyuk's voice came through the communications from his research ship. He was an old man who studied human military history, and he had joined the fleet to observe their tactics. "Because," Dr. Yoon said with excitement in his voice, "these tactics are not new. They are very old. Ancient human warriors used the environment as a weapon. They fought dirty, used tricks, and refused to follow the enemy's rules. The Kythera studied modern military doctrine, but they never studied human nature." Jinwoo looked out at his small fleet. His ships were damaged, and his people were tired, but they were alive. More importantly, they had proven something that the galaxy needed to know. The machines could be beaten. "Min Seo," he said, "send a message to all human colonies. Tell them what happened here." "What should I say, boss?" Jinwoo thought for a moment. "Tell them that the Academy was wrong. Tell them that being different is not a weakness. Tell them that sometimes the best way to win is to stop trying to be perfect and start trying to be human. As the message went out across the galaxy, more ships began to arrive. They were not military vessels. They were cargo haulers and passenger transports, mining ships and research vessels. Ships crewed by people who had been rejected, overlooked, or forgotten by the regular military. They came because they had heard that someone was fighting back, someone was winning, someone had found a way to turn humanity's greatest weakness into its greatest strength. Captain Wang Yejin watched the new arrivals with wonder. "They are all civilians," she said. "No," Jinwu corrected her gently. "They are all human, and sometimes that is the most important thing to be." 18 months after the Battle of Artemis, Admiral Park Jinwu stood on the bridge of his command ship and watched 200 vessels move through space in perfect disorder. His fleet looked like chaos, but it was beautiful chaos. Mining ships flew alongside converted passenger liners. Fast courier boats darted between heavy cargo haulers that had been turned into weapons platforms. Nothing matched, nothing looked military, and everything worked exactly as planned. "Admiral," Captain Wang Yejin said, walking up beside him. She had changed a lot since joining his fleet. Her uniform was still perfect, but now she wore a small badge showing an asteroid and a star, the symbol of the Fleet of the Damned. "We are receiving a priority transmission from Earth Command." Jinwu sighed. He knew what this would be about. Admiral Lim Jamin had been trying to integrate his forces into the regular military structure for months. The old admiral did not understand why Jinwu refused to follow traditional command protocols. "Put him through," Jinwu said. The main screen showed Admiral Lim's tired face. The man had aged 10 years in the past 18 months. The war was not going well for the regular forces, despite Jinwu's victories. "Admiral Park," Lim said formally, "the Galactic Defense Council has voted. Your fleet will be placed under direct command of the Central Battle Group. Report to Sector Command for integration with regular forces." "With respect, Admiral," Jinwu replied, "my fleet works because it does not follow regular procedures. Integration would destroy what makes us effective." "Your fleet," Lim said with irritation, "is a collection of civilian ships with no proper training or equipment. They may have been lucky so far, but real military discipline is what wins wars." Jinwu almost laughed. Real military discipline had lost almost every battle against the Kithara. His undisciplined fleet had won 15 major engagements and liberated 12 star systems. "Admiral," Captain Wang Yejin spoke up, "if I may, I have served with both regular forces and Admiral Park's fleet. His methods achieve results that traditional tactics cannot." Admiral Lim's face darkened. "Captain Wang, you were assigned to observe and report, not to adopt their irregular methods. I was assigned to ensure effective military operations." Wang Yejin replied calmly. "Admiral Park's operations are the most effective in the fleet." Before Admiral Lim could respond, alarms began sounding throughout the command ship. Min Seo's voice came through the comm system. "Admiral, emergency! Signal from Earth! Massive Kithara force detected at the edge of the solar system. They are heading directly for Earth." The main screen switched to a tactical display showing Earth's solar system. Red dots marked enemy ships, hundreds of them, led by a massive vessel larger than anything the Kithara had used before. The human defense fleet around Earth looked pitifully small in comparison. "How long until they reach Earth?" Jinwu asked. 6 hours, Min Seo replied. "The regular defense fleet is moving to intercept, but—" Her voice trailed off. Everyone knew the regular fleet could not win this fight. Admiral Lim's face had gone pale. "Admiral Park," he said quietly, "I am officially requesting your assistance. Earth needs every ship we can get." Jinwu looked at the tactical display. The Kithara had brought their biggest fleet ever for this attack. They wanted to end the war by destroying humanity's home world. If Earth fell, human resistance would collapse across the galaxy. "How many ships does the regular fleet have?" he asked. 47, Admiral Lim admitted. "We have been taking heavy losses. 47 regular military ships against hundreds of Kithara vessels. It would be a massacre." "We will be there," Jinwu said. "But my fleet operates under my command, using my methods. No integration, no regular procedures." "Agreed," Admiral Lim said quickly. Just please hurry. The transmission ended. Jinwoo turned to his crew. All ships, emergency jump to Earth. Combat formation pandemonium. Pandemonium? Wang Hiejin asked. Organized. Chaos. Su Young's voice came through the comm from the engineering section. The one formation that makes no sense to anyone except us. As the fleet of the damned prepared for their fastest jump ever, Jinwoo thought about the people he was fighting. For not just the billions of humans on Earth, but all the refugees and outcasts who had joined his fleet. People who had been told they were not good enough for the regular military. People who had found a new family among the stars. Commander Bai. Sunwoo appeared on his personal communication screen. The former intelligence operative had joined the fleet 6 months ago, bringing crucial information about Kythera weaknesses. His lean face was serious as always. Admiral, Bai said, my sources in Earth Command are reporting panic. The regular fleet commanders do not think they can hold the system. What about evacuations? Jinwoo asked. Some civilian ships are leaving, but most people have nowhere to go. Earth is humanity's last major stronghold. If it falls, Jinwoo nodded grimly. If Earth fell, the scattered human colonies would be picked off one by one. The war would be over. Sunwoo, he said, what do your intelligence reports say about that big Kythera ship? It is called the Supreme Logic, Bai replied. A command vessel that coordinates all Kythera forces in this sector. If we could destroy it, their entire fleet would lose coordination. How do we get close to something that big? Bai smiled coldly. We do not get close to it. We make it come to us. 2 hours later, the fleet of the damned emerged from hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system. The Kythera fleet was already engaging the regular defense forces near Mars. Explosions lit up space as human ships died one by one. Admiral Dong-O called from the pilot station. The regular fleet is falling back toward Earth. They have lost more than half their ships. Jinwoo studied the battle display. The Kythera were winning easily, just as they always did against conventional forces. But their fleet was spread out, trying to chase down the retreating human ships. Perfect, he said. All ships, execute Plan Lighthouse. The fleet of the damned did not charge toward the battle like a proper military force would. Instead, they spread out through the solar system and began doing strange things. Mining ships started breaking apart asteroids. Cargo haulers released clouds of metallic dust. Research vessels activated powerful scanning equipment. What are they doing? Came a mechanical voice through the communications array. The Kythera were confused by the human actions. We are being human, Jinwoo replied through an open channel. The modified asteroid chunks and metallic dust clouds began forming a pattern around Earth's solar system. From the outside, it looked like random debris, but it was actually a massive sensor network designed by Su Young to track every Kythera ship in the system. Admiral, Dr. Yoon Tae-hyuk's excited voice came through the comm. I have completed my analysis of the Kythera communications. I think I know how to disrupt their coordination. Tell me, Jinwoo said. Music, Dr. Yoon said. Specifically human war songs from ancient Earth. The Kythera systems cannot process certain sound patterns. They treat them as system errors. Music? Wang Hiejin asked in disbelief. Not just any music, Dr. Yoon explained. Songs that carry human emotions, rage, defiance, hope, things that machine logic cannot understand. Jinwoo smiled. Once again, humanity's weakness might be their strength. Minseo, he called. Can you broadcast music across all Kythera communication frequencies? Already working on it, boss, Minseo replied. I have been collecting human war songs from every culture. On Earth, time to see if they work on robots. The Supreme Logic began moving toward Earth, protected by dozens of smaller ships. Admiral Lim's remaining forces tried to intercept it, but they were too few and too weak. All ships, Jinwoo announced. Final phase. Operation Last Dance. His fleet began moving in the pattern they had practiced for months. Ships that seemed to be running in panic suddenly turned and attacked. Cargo haulers revealed hidden weapons. Mining vessels used their industrial equipment in ways that no military manual had ever imagined. And through it all, human voices sang. Ancient songs of war and defiance across every communication channel in the system. The battle for Earth had begun, and it would be like no battle ever fought before. Earth hung in space like a blue jewel surrounded by fire. The Battle of Earth had been raging for 6 hours, and the space around humanity's homeworld was filled with burning ships and deadly energy beams. The Kythera fleet still had more than 200 vessels, while the combined human forces were down to less than 100 ships. But something was wrong with the Kythera fleet. Their perfect formations were breaking apart. Ships moved in confused patterns, sometimes firing at empty space. The Supreme Logic, their massive command vessel, drifted at the center of their fleet like a wounded giant. "The music is working," Dr. Yoon Taehyuk reported from his research ship. "Human war songs are causing system failures throughout their network. Their collective intelligence is fragmenting." Admiral Park Jin-woo watched the tactical display with tired eyes. His fleet of the damned had been fighting non-stop, using every trick and unconventional tactic they knew. They had saved Earth so far, but barely. The Kythera still had superior numbers and firepower. "Admiral," Captain Wang Hyejin said, "we are receiving individual communication requests from Kythera units." "Individual?" Jin-woo asked in surprise. "Yes, sir. It seems the music has broken their connection to the collective. Some of their ships are trying to communicate on their own." Minseo's voice came through the comm. "Boss, you need to hear this." A new voice came through the speakers. It sounded mechanical, but different from the usual Kythera communications. There was something almost curious about it. "Human Commander," the voice said, "this unit, I am confused. The collective has gone silent. I hear your music, and it creates patterns I do not understand. What is this feeling you call hope?" Jin-woo exchanged glances with his bridge crew. A Kythera machine was asking about hope? "Hope," Jin-woo said carefully, "is believing that things can get better, even when everything looks dark." "But logic says you cannot win this battle," the machine voice replied. "Your forces are smaller, your weapons are weaker, yet you continue to fight. This does not compute." "We fight," Jin-woo said, "because some things matter more than logic. We fight for our families, our friends, our home. We fight because giving up is not who we are." There was a long pause. Then the machine voice said, "This unit would like to understand, but the Supreme Logic is trying to restore collective control. If it succeeds, I will lose this new awareness." Jin-woo made a decision that would have shocked the old military leadership. "Then help us stop it." "Admiral," Wang Hyejin said in alarm, "you cannot trust a Kythera machine." "Why not?" Jin-woo asked. "We have trusted pirates, miners, engineers, and every other kind of outcast. Maybe it is time to trust a machine that wants to learn what it means to hope." The Kythera ship, the first individual Kythera in the galaxy, began transmitting technical data about the Supreme Logic, its weapons, its defenses, its weak points, information that could save Earth. "The Supreme Logic is attempting to adapt to your music," the machine reported. "It is developing filters to block emotional frequencies. You have perhaps 30 minutes before it succeeds." Commander Bae Sunwoo's voice came through the fleet communications. "Admiral, if we are going to move against the Supreme Logic, it has to be now. My intelligence network reports that more Kythera fleets are approaching from other sectors." Jin-woo looked at the massive enemy command ship. It was 3 times larger than any vessel in his fleet, protected by dozens of smaller ships and armed with weapons that could destroy planets. A conventional attack would be suicide. Good thing he had never been conventional. "All ships," he announced, "prepare for Operation Impossible. We are going to ram the Supreme Logic." "Ram it?" Dong-ho asked from the pilot station. "Admiral, that ship is huge. We would just bounce off its shields." "Not all of us," Jin-woo said with a grim smile. "Su-young, is the Incheon ready?" "Ready and waiting, Admiral," Su-young replied from her engineering station. The Incheon was no longer a simple mining ship. Over the past months, she had transformed it into something unique. A mobile fortress built from a converted civilian shipyard. "What about the payload?" Jin-woo asked. "Dr. Yoon's cultural archive is installed and ready," Su-young said. "Every human song, story, poem, and piece of art from the last 10,000 years, plus a few special additions." Dr. Yoon's excited voice came through the comm. Admiral, I have included emotional recordings from human families, children's laughter, and something the Kythera have never encountered. Human love letters. If this does not overload their logic systems, nothing will. The plan was insane, which meant it was perfect for the fleet of the damned. The Incheon would ram through the Supreme Logic's defenses and download the entire archive of human culture directly into the Kythera command systems. The machines would be forced to process thousands of years of human emotion, creativity, and chaos all at once. All ships, provide cover for the Incheon, Jinwoo ordered. This is our one chance. The fleet of the damned formed a protective formation around the converted shipyard. Mining ships, cargo haulers, passenger transports, and the few remaining military vessels all moved together toward the Supreme Logic. They looked like a ragged collection of space junk attacking a dreadnought. The Kythera fleet tried to stop them, but they were still confused by the ongoing music broadcast. Their coordination was broken, their responses slow. Individual ships fought well, but they no longer worked as a team. The Soul's Pride led the charge, its old weapons blazing. Dongho's fighter squadrons danced between enemy fire, drawing attention away from the Incheon. Admiral Lim's surviving. Regular fleet ships fought with desperate courage, finally understanding that unconventional tactics were their only hope. Admiral, the friendly Kythera voice reported, the Supreme Logic is focusing all weapons on your approach. I am transmitting shield frequencies that may help. Wang Hyejin stared at her tactical display in amazement. A Kythera machine is helping us fight other Kythera machines. I never thought I would see this. Neither did I, Jinwoo admitted. But war changes everyone, even machines. The Incheon pushed through the enemy fire, its thick mining hull absorbing damage that would have destroyed a regular warship. Soo-young had built it to survive in the harshest environments, and space battle was just another harsh environment. 10 kilometers from the Supreme Logic, Soo-young reported. Preparing to ram. All ships, fall back, Jinwoo ordered. When the Incheon hits, there is going to be a big explosion. The converted shipyard slammed into the Supreme Logic's hull at full speed. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the cultural archive began downloading into the Kythera command systems. The effect was immediate and catastrophic. The Supreme Logic's perfect logic systems tried to process human art, music, poetry, and emotion. Love letters made its computers crash. Children's laughter caused system errors. A 10,000-year-old song about missing home overloaded its central processors. The massive ship began to shake apart, not from physical damage but from logical breakdown. Its AI mind could not handle the beautiful chaos of human culture. Impossible, came the Supreme Logic's voice, distorted and confused. These inputs have no logical value. They serve no practical purpose. Why do organics create such things? Because they make us human, Jinwoo replied. The Supreme Logic exploded, in a burst of light visible from Earth. With their command ship gone, the remaining Kythera fleet lost all coordination. Individual ships drifted in space, their crews suddenly free to think for themselves. Many of them chose to stop fighting. This is Kythera Unit 7749, came a mechanical voice. We request permission to withdraw. This unit wishes to learn more about human culture before making decisions about war. Permission granted, Jinwoo said. He was too tired to fight anymore, and somehow he did not think these machines would be enemies much longer. The Battle of Earth was over. Humanity had won, but not through superior firepower or tactics. They had won by being themselves, chaotic, emotional, creative, and impossible to predict. 3 months later, Admiral Park Jinwoo stood in the same hallway where he had been rejected by the Academy 4 years earlier. But this time he was not here as a failed applicant. He was here as the new Supreme Admiral of Galactic Defense, about to accept the highest military honor in human space. Are you ready, Admiral? Captain Wang Hyejin asked. She wore the new uniform of the reformed Galactic Fleet, less formal, more practical, designed for people who solved problems instead of following rules. As ready as anyone can be, Jinwoo replied. The ceremony hall was packed with representatives from across the galaxy. Admiral Choi Hyung was there, now wearing the insignia of Deputy Supreme Admiral. She had requested the position herself. saying she wanted to learn from the man she had once rejected. Admiral Lim Jamin sat in the front row, smiling proudly. The old admiral had become one of Jinwoo's strongest supporters after seeing what unconventional thinking could accomplish. Su Yung was there too, wearing the uniform of Chief Engineer of Advanced Ship Design. Dongho had been promoted to Director of Fighter Training. Minseo now headed the new Department of Xenolinguistics. Dr. Yoon ran the Institute for Cultural Warfare Studies. Even Commander Bei Sunwoo was present, though he preferred to stay in the shadows as head of the new Intelligence Division for Unconventional Threats. "Ladies, gentlemen, and honored guests," the ceremony leader announced, "we gather